Thanks for downloading this show from PC One. Before we get rolling, here's a word from one of the folks who helped bring you this podcast. The following program is a PodcastOne.com production. He started in a small town in Texas. Worked his ass off to become one of the most famous wrestlers of all time.
We're gonna take care of business tonight, and that's the bottom line.
And now he's dominating the world of on-demand audio. And he's doing it for the working man.
This is a damn good outlet for me to spew the bullshit off my brain.
Yeah! This is the Steve Austin Show. Unleashed.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Steve Austin Show. I am coming to you from the mean streets of Los Angeles, California. I got a hell of a podcast for you today. I'm talking to my buddy Ted Fowler, 361, down there in Rockport, Texas. I started getting tweets on my Twitter account, emails in my email account, questions at steveaustonshow.com asking me, hey, when's Teddy going to be back on the show? You and Teddy got heat? What's up with you and Ted? Well, you going to find out what's up with me and Ted. Goddamn. I sold a ranch. I'm in California. He's in Texas. So we catch up right here on the podcast. And it was good shooting the breeze with him and having a couple of good laughs. So my guest today is Ted Fowler, 361. And we just got finished talking. I think we talked for about an hour, 20 and 25 minutes. Stacy will trim a little bit of that out, the parts where I started stuttering or doing whatever I was doing. So my conversation with Teddy is so long, I'm going to go ahead and keep this open real short. So before we get into the podcast with Ted Fowler, my illustrious wife, Kristen, has been busy cooking up her Blue Apron meals again. And she loves the Blue Apron because they have high-quality ingredients that are delivered right to the house. And they have a ton of vegetarian and vegan options. So this week she's cooking up baked spinach and egg flatbread with sauteed asparagus and lemon aioli. And she's also got all the ingredients and a recipe card for 3 cheese and baby broccoli stromboli with tomato and oregano dipping sauce. And thanks to Blue Apron, she's eating those delicious home-cooked dinners in less than 40 minutes. My wife also loves the fact that all Blue Apron ingredients are fresh and measured out in perfect proportions. And Blue Apron is easy to use. Every meal comes with step-by-step, easy-to-follow recipe cards. And like I already said, can be made in 40 minutes or less. And I'm telling you, a few Blue Apron meals under your belt, and you will be a gourmet chef. You can choose your meals each week and your delivery options. There's no weekly commitment, so you only get deliveries when you want them. You can see this week's full menu options and get your first 3 meals free with free shipping at blueapron.com/unleashed. You'll love how good the food tastes and how easy it is to make home-cooked meals with Blue Apron. So get on it. Go to blueapron.com/unleashed. That's blueapron.com/unleashed.
This week on All of the Above with Norman Lear, Veep star Julia Louis-Dreyfus sits down with Norman and Paul.
Well, you know, there wasn't a script when I was first talking to HBO about it. There was a concept, and my agent had said to me, listen, they're developing this thing at HBO about an unhappy vice president, an unhappy female vice president. And I thought to myself, well, I got to get in on this action because it's gold, and it's so amazing that nobody's done it before.
Listen today on the Podcast One app or subscribe at Apple Podcasts or on PodcastOne.com. Steve Austin, Unleashed.
Yeah, I'm recording sound. Rolling. I got Ted Fowler, 361, down in Rockport, Texas, representing the 361 still. I'm representing 310 out here on the West Coast. Teddy, what in the flying fuck is going on? It's been a long time since I talked to you on the goddamn Steve Austin show. I had ever since I sold that goddamn ranch. And people saying, well, goddamn, does that mean Ted Fowler, 361, ain't going to be on the podcast no more? Y'all ain't going to be doing no podcast anymore? I said, goddamn. No, we're going to be doing plenty of fucking podcasts. Just settle down. Don't get your fucking panties in a twist. Fuck. And then some people are sitting there answering questions. Hey, man, is there heat between you and Ted? Hey, I don't know why there's goddamn heat between me and Ted, because the ranch is too fucking far for me to fucking keep going 1,500 miles there, 1,500 miles back. I ain't no goddamn heat with Ted. Fuck. I've been talking with him since, what the fuck? You been getting that shit too?
Oh, dude, I was getting a bunch of that shit. That's like, dude, he sold the fucking ranch. Nobody died. You know, I mean, it wasn't like we you know, had a fucking 3-ring knockdown drag out in the parking lot. It's like, dude, there's going to be another adventure around the horizon. Just sit tight, you know? Yeah, I got that. It's like, holy cow.
Well, it was kind of weird because a couple of guys bought the ranch, and so one of the guys, you got to tell this story, Ted, because this is nothing but a storytelling episode anyway. But you were the first person that Kristen and I told we were going to sell the ranch because you're one of our closest friends, and you're out there. You're in as deep as we are. I mean, all the work and stuff. You've been out there for over 9 years, and we bought the place 10 years ago. So we've been through thick and thin together. So when we decided, it'd been a little bit too much for us, we said, well, Ted's going to be the first guy we tell. And we kind of kayfabed it from a lot of people because, our business, and it was a hard decision to make. And so anyway, I remember that day I told you, and you're kind of like, hey man, I get it. If you sell this thing tomorrow, it's been a blast. But good luck to you. And then but I told you, but it also affected you. And then when I finally told you that we had an offer on the ranch, I was like, okay, you kind of measured your response, and I was like, okay, now he's selling a little bit here. And then when I said, well, looks like we sold the ranch, I said the deal hadn't closed, but it looks like it's going to. And then I called you and said the deal has closed. So you played it off real good, like you would do. But then you were out there, you were getting all your shit off the ranch. I'd already gotten all my shit off the ranch. And one of the owners came up and introduced himself to you. And you didn't have a good response for him because what did he say to you that pissed you off so much or just rubbed you the wrong way?
Oh, dude, right out of the gate. I hope he doesn't listen to the podcast because I'm going to let it out here.
No, those guys are good.
I don't give a fuck if he listens to it or not. It ain't my show.
No, they're good guys. But it's a good story.
No, he got out of his vehicle and he's like, well, you must be Teddy. And I'm like, yeah, fuck, here we go. I said, I'm Ted. Because, I don't mind that you call me that or,
Yeah.
people that I know, but I just don't want some, guy off the street. And he goes, well, I guess I just cost you a job. And I'm sitting there going, motherfucker.
Yeah, but I thought he told you. Looks like I think I just cost you a job and a hunting spot. He hit you with a double whammy.
Dude, you don't worry about where I'm hunting. I'll land on my feet. I was hunting before you got the ranch, and I'll be hunting after you got the ranch. Yeah, it was just a little. I don't know. I wasn't in the best mood, the best frame of mind, and for him to come out. And hit me with that. I can think of some different topics to be humorous about. Hey pal, let's go see that fucking alligator. See how funny you think that is.
No, I can see the setup. No. Go ahead and stand there a little bit closer to the pond, and I'll get a picture from back here.
Hold this rabbit down by your waist.
God dang it. Hey man, let's catch up real quick. You sent me a picture last night, and last night, as we're speaking, it's Sunday afternoon. This show's going to drop on Thursday that you're listening or whenever you download it. We both just got finished watching UFC 211. I saw the undercard, and it was amazing. Goddamn, some knockdown, drag-out fights. And while I was watching the pre-fight stuff for the pay-per-view, Ted sent me a picture of a big old gash on his goddamn forearm. I said, what the fuck happened? What did you do yourself?
Dude, I was putting in some doors for this lady at her condominium. She's not there. I went to cut the strapping. They're big-ass sliding glass doors. I went to cut the plastic strapping off. And you know that old phrase, a dull knife will cut you quicker than a sharp one? Dude, I've been meaning to put an edge on my knife, and it's just been busy and just, blown it off. Well, I'm pulling that knife towards me rather than push it away, and I've got it around one of those green packing straps, and it's so fucking dull, it slides off of that thing, and the point of it goes right into my forearm, just below the bend of my elbow. Man, when I did that, I looked down, and that thing was wide open like a fillet. Man, I set that knife down, and I put my hand over it real quick, and I got a new helper because I fired my other help. That's another story. I got a new helper, and he's standing inside. He didn't see what happened. And I said, dude, grab a handful of those paper towels. And he comes running out. What'd you do? And I lifted my hand off to grab that wad of paper towels. Dude, and blood is pumping out of that thing. And he gets all white, and he's like, starts doing that, you know. And I'm like, oh, Christ, man. And I'm down on my knees, and I'm holding that. And it's like when I hit the table saw, you know, and got my fingers. Yep. It's like, man, I grabbed hold of him and squeezed him. I knew I'd screwed him up, and I was a little leery to look at it. You know, and I finally pulled the paper towel off, and blood is just pouring out of it. And I'm like, God damn, I wonder if I hit that vein or the artery or whatever. He gets me some more paper towels. Now, mind you, we've got a 6-foot hole in the side of this lady's house that we just got that door out of. And he's going, man, you need to go to the emergency room. You need to go to the emergency room. Well, shit, I can't leave the lady's house like that. So I carry a medical kit, you know, first aid kit in the truck, go out and get some gauze pads. And you know, he's too much of a pussy to even wrap it up for me. I'm like, dude, you know, just close your eyes. Don't look at it. You know, treat it like the sun. Don't look directly at it. You know, but I can't wrap this up by myself. You know, so he finally wraps it up. We put the door in the hole, and I'm like, man, just put some screws in there. We'll put a couple of boards across it. I'll come finish it tomorrow. I you know, now that I think about it, I probably do need to go to the emergency room. Yeah. So that's how Saturday evening started.
Yeah, but you said they put some goddamn staples in there. Why didn't you just stitch it? Because I would have think that the stitches would be a little bit less painful than the staples they used.
Oh, dude, I didn't realize that place closed at 5 on the weekends. I thought it was a 24/7, you know, emergency urgent care center is what it is here in Rockport. You know, so hell, I come rolling in at 4:45. Well, shit, like everybody else, they're ready to go home. You know, and you hear the doctor on the phone talking to somebody, and he's like, man, I got one more that just come in. And I'm like, fucking great. You know, yeah, I'm sorry I screwed up your dinner plans, dude. You know, I mean, this was not my plan.
Dude, you know, he was trying to haul ass to get down to see UFC 211 on pay-per-view.
God damn, he could TiVo it, man. Come on, you know, I'm going to bleed out here. You know, yeah. So he comes in and looks at it, and I've got it wrapped up. And I said, now look, man, in my unprofessional opinion, because remember how I tried to diagnose that elbow injury? You saw how that worked out. You know, I said, in my unprofessional opinion, I think to expedite things, you could probably throw a few butterfly stitches on that thing. I'll keep it dry. I won't do too much. And we're down the road. Well, the guy cuts that wrapping off, and it's been on there so tight. Man, as soon as he cuts that off, blood starts pumping out again, and he's like, yeah, that's a little more than butterfly stitches, pal. You know, so gets the nurse in there. She gets it all cleaned up. And I kind of felt like the guy was outside looking at his watch going, God damn, all right, it's you know, it takes me 6 minutes to get to the car. I can be on the freeway in 15, you know, 10 minutes to shower, get the old lady. You know, we got dinner reservations at 6:30 at the yacht club or wherever they're eating, you know, and I'm like, son of a bitch. So the guy comes in with like a fucking horse needle, you know, and a big old hypodermic deal with that, whatever they numb you up. Lidocaine, yeah. And he goes, hey, man, here's the worst part. You know, I got to stick this in the incision or in the cut there. And I'm going, well, you know, fuck, it can't hurt any worse than me, you know, jabbing myself with the end of that dull fucking knife. So go ahead and let it rip. Dude, I hardly even felt it. You know, I mean, surprising enough, you know, and he juiced it up and he was like, well, I think we'll just do staples. You know, so he takes his glasses off to do the staples. And I'll send you a picture of it. And you need to expand it on your phone. Because the two staples right in the middle, he missed. That's only hooking on one side. Yeah, it's like goddamn Rockport. You got to save the fucking receipt when you go to the doctor? Yeah.
Do you get charged if the staple doesn't actually close the wound?
I think that falls under the 80% success ratio or something like that. You know, there's a certain amount of tolerance that they allow you, you know, leeway one way or another, good or bad, and I think I fall under that, you know, under that realm.
You know it's bad when the doctor putting staples in your arm and oops. Doc, what's wrong? I'm gonna have to call a mulligan on that one.
Dude, he did that. He put one in and he took it out.
Yeah. Dude, he wasn't going to UFC 211. He was trying to get to the fucking bar. He was in DT's.
Yeah, I mean, when your doctor takes his glasses off to see what he's doing, it's like, dude, I know you're not wearing those to pick up chicks. I mean, it's Rockport. You know, goddamn, dude. Yeah, I swear to God, I'll send you a picture, man. You will literally shake your head because two of them are, you know, I'm almost tempted to grab a pair of needle nose pliers and just hook them over the incision. You know? Yeah, like, goddamn, let me try, you know.
Well, goddamn, after hearing all the bullshit that you went through on that Obamacare bullshit, and I ain't talking about politics, but I know all your fucking policy, your prices went up and all this fucking shit happened to you. You at least, goddamn, I'd be so hard-headed, I'd have to stand in line and say, hey, I ain't paying for two of these motherfuckers. I'm telling you that right now.
Well, dude, here's the deal. Because I have such a low tolerance, you know, for the insurance company, this place has its own deal where you sign up for an annual membership, so to speak, and it has nothing to do with your current health insurance. You're basically buying a service from them where every time I go in there, the most they can charge me is $135. You know, no matter what they do, if they do X-rays, if they do like the 7 staples, $135. Even if it was 5, you know, it was $135. So the 2 that didn't go in right, I guess I got for free, technically. You know, so you don't have to jack with your insurance. You just, you know, drop your debit card and, you know, pay them. You know, and I went in there and the girl goes, "Have you been here before?" I go, "Yeah, shit, I was here last month when I stepped on that nail." You know, yeah. Like, goddamn, the best payout plan I got is with you guys. You know?
When I stepped on that nail, when the fuck did you? I know you're on a construction site all the time because that's what you do. You build stuff, but when the fuck did you step on a nail? You didn't tell me that one.
Dude, that was about a month or 6 weeks ago. Now, here's the thing. I was in the water, so I'm wearing my Chuck Taylors, right? My wading shoes, because I'm working on this pier. You know, and I'm secure the bottom, and I get out, and I've got a new guy working for me, and he's just slow as shit. He's no longer with the company. Imagine that. He's just slow as shit popping up these old deck boards, and when we pop them up, they were originally nailed down. So sometimes the nails come out, and sometimes they don't. Sometimes they shear off and stay in those runners, so you've got rusty nails. It's like a 2-inch spike that's sticking up. Well, as I take these deck boards off, I keep moving them in front of me, so I got something to stand on. Now I got size 15 feet, and I'm standing on a sideways 2x6, which is 5.5 inches. So I'm not as agile as I possibly could be. So I got all these nails on boards piled up behind me, and broken nails sticking up out of the stringers in front of me. Well, I step forward, and a goddamn nail goes up through the bottom of my shoe directly into my foot. And of course, your knee-jerk reaction is pull your foot up real quick and be like, fuck. Well, I lose my balance. I start going backwards, and I turn to put my hand down. Nail went through my right foot. I put my hands down. Nail goes through the right palm of my hand. So I get the double whammy. So I'm jumping around, and my new guy's looking at me like, "Oh fuck, yeah. See what happens when you go fast?" You know, yeah.
I'm not laughing at you, Teddy. I'm laughing with you.
Yeah. You know, so I mean, with you know, the stuff still ringing in my mind for the elbow surgery. I'm like, God damn, there's no doubt, you know, that I need a tetanus shot because this stuff, you know.
Let me ask you a question, Teddy. Are those low top or high top Chuck Taylors?
They're high top. No self-respecting athlete wears low top.
God damn. God damn it. What in the hell are you wearing a pair of Chuck Taylors for? I ain't never seen you anywhere near a basketball court. Or just that's because you heard through the course of your career when you're working in the underwater conditions with walking on boards with nails sticking through them that Chuck Taylor's the go-to shoe.
Dude, because I have such big